Hello, everybody. Buddy Web, Midland, Texas. I posted this on my Facebook this morning. I said a girl killed at an oil show party was easier to ignore before I found proof of underground homes. What's excused now? Okay, here I've got a little short write up here, and then some evidence backing it up. In October 2010, my friend Angie Mungia Herrley told me about a young girl that was murdered at a 2010 oil show party because she didn't want to sell herself for sex. Angie was leaving my home and at the oil show parties in 5 minutes. I know this because we were talking on the phone while she drove there. I now believe that she drove the Midland, Texas Home Depot store, which is directly behind my home, and inside that store is or was a tunnel coming back to my home. One day I was looking at Google Earth historical maps and I saw where the ground had been cut coming from the back of Home Depot and aimed directly at my home. Obviously, this was the tunnel that Angie and other people at the oil show parties used, and in my backyard is one of the 4 secret 3-bedroom homes said to have been put in for the Bushes in 1987 with a budget on permit for $7.35 million. It was called the Safehouse Project. During the 2010 election for Midland Sheriff, I secretly recorded one of the guys running for sheriff telling me that the underground homes was the hideout for the late Sheriff Gary Painter. That was more evidence. Supporting evidence was found on old Google Maps showing a large bunker in my backyard, which could be seen on the map screen, but not from above ground on the satellite screen. More evidence. Tisha Brumley would later tell me that her sister used to go to those show parties, and she confirmed they were in the underground homes. More evidence. Based on certain clues, I believe I know where 2 of the other 4 underground homes are located. My guess is that one of them is near a home on Westmont Court and Whittle Way. Rhonda Denman Rogers told me that one of the underground homes is a half block away. I believe another one is near a home on Fairgreen Court, which is directly across the alley from the Fairmont Park Church of Christ. A law enforcement officer advised me to snoop around that church one day, and he used to see large groups of police parked there in the daytime. Several people told me they saw the Home Depot parking lot full of cars late at night when the store wasn't open. A clerk also mentioned this to me when I was telling her my story. Angie and I would talk on the phone each night of the oil show parties at 11 o'clock p.m. She'd put me on hold so she could go get her pill. This pill would make her sleepy, and we would get off the phone not long after this. They were systematically drugging the women and girls at those parties. This was confirmed by another lady who told me that she went to oil show parties from 2008 to 2019. I have a screenshot of this. The ex-wife told me it was an antidepressant pill. I don't know how she knew this, but she was an RN and her brother-in-law was a doctor. It was more confirmation of what Angie and the other woman had told me. Jessica Hadley told me there had been more than one girl raped or murdered at the oil show parties if they didn't do whatever they wanted. I tried to get Angie to go report this murder, but she was afraid and told me that high-level police were also at those parties. This was when we quit seeing each other. One day I took off from work and I drove the Midland Police Department to report this murder myself, but the woman at the front desk told me there was nobody there for me to talk to. She acted like she recognized me, and I'd just moved to town. I was given a phone number to call for a detective, but when I called it, I got voicemail. I left my name and number twice, but didn't get a call back. I later told the story to Texas Ranger Jeffrey Strain, the Midland FBI, Homeland Security, and even emailed it to former Texas Governor Rick Perry and then former Attorney General Greg Abbott. He's now governor. I suspected they ignored it due to the name smear that has gone on to cover up the home invasion and premeditated murder attempt on my life. Of course, those lies no longer work now. There are over 50 other homeowners documented reporting people in the attic since I was shot by somebody under my home with my phone lines cut and burglar alarms going off in my attic. So what is the excuse now to cover up the murder of the young girl at the underground oil show parties in 2010? Okay, let me show you some of the evidence I found. This was Google Maps showing the bunker in my backyard here, and I reported that to the city, and it was deleted from Google. Here's Tisha Ann Wilkinson Brumley saying that they are in underground homes. The oil show parties, her sister used to go to them. And Jessica Lee Hadley saying she'd been to a lot of oil show parties. There's more than one girl raped or murdered at the oil show parties. Okay. I'll show you another one. This right here is found on Google Earth historical maps, can still be seen. Go back to about 2011, right before I was shot. You can see where they cut the ground coming out of the back of Home Depot and directly at my house and in the backyards. one of the underground homes. I showed that to Homeland 2019, and they dug up the ground and poured concrete. Got it on video. Right here, this is Layla Gale O'Brien. Said she worked on this project. Told me it was $7.35 million on permit. It was called the Safe House Project. Okay. Julia Weidman tried to get them permits, come down to Midland, and she's the one that told me, she says, and when I asked about the permit records for storm shelters, he with a smile told me that all the permit records prior to 2015 had been destroyed or lost, accidentally, huh? Yeah, ain't that convenient. Okay. During the 2020 election, I signally recorded one of the guys running for election. That was Joe Lozano. And Joe is a
woman named Rhonda Denman Rogers tells me that the underground facility is a half block away. And I also have a screenshot of this statement. She didn't say it was 1.5 blocks, so she knew exactly where it was at.
Hey, buddy.
Yeah, huh?
Buddy. That was Painter's.
He was our last sheriff, Painter was. And Joe Lozano, who was running for Midland Sheriff when I secretly recorded him, is the one that told me that. That should have been headline news. It was hidden from the public, and then they smeared my name. Based on certain clues, I believe that there's one of the underground homes is a half block away. I was told that by Rhonda Denman Rogers. It's a half block away. Half block away, here is the empty lot on this Westmont Court, Whittle Way. This is right around the corner from my house, and there's a water well there, and there's a water well near my backyard. Plus, this home had a brick mortar problem, and my home had a brick mortar problem. So I suspect one of the 4 underground homes is located there. Okay, here. This guy, Kevin Kahn, law enforcement officer, told me to go snoop around this church. This church is right here, the Fairmont Park Church right across the alley, right this direction over there is another home on Fairgreen Court, and I suspect that's where another underground home is. It also had a water well, and it had the same brick mortar problem. Okay, here's my home, Home Depot, the tunnel's cut. One of the homes in the backyard, I believe there's another underground home here on this house, and the one across the street from the Fairgreen Church. That still leaves one other, but that's my best guess where 3 of the 4 underground homes are. And maybe, the girl was murdered in one of them other homes, And what I know is Angie told me that, Okay, here's this woman, and I was telling her, I said, at 11 p.m. each night, Angie would put me on hold and go get her pill. That's how I know they were drugging the women and girls there. She says, yes, it's true. She's the one that says, I was former escort, and I went to every party from 2008, 2019, etc. Okay, she was 16, 17 at the time. They would prefer us younger girls. That's what she told me, okay, at the old show parties. They like the younger girls. I later told this to Texas Ranger Strain, Midland FBI, Homeland Security, and even the governor, Rick Perry, and then Attorney General Greg Abbott. Okay, so this one here, this is when I was contacting Paxton, the Texas Attorney General, and he advised me to contact the PIU, and they assigned Texas Ranger Strain to my case. He was not with the PIU. That's the email where he was said that in 2017. Okay. This was from Homeland Security. I also told him about the girl murdered at the old show party. And he's the one that says, buddy, I simply asked you why you wouldn't consider selling your home and continue to feel threatened there. So I felt like he's trying to talk me into selling my home when I was showing him where a tunnel underground home is used for, forced prostitution. I mailed this packet to the FBI in 2016, and I recorded a phone call, an FBI agent telling me he's going to destroy the evidence. I told them about the young girl being murdered at the old show party too. This was an email that I sent in 2014 to then Governor Greg Abbott called Rape and Murder about the girl at the old show party, and also Attorney General Greg Abbott. He's now governor of Texas, okay? And this was posted to my Facebook, here, Rape and Murder Story, on December 13th. 2 days later, Chad Simpson, Midland K-9 police officer Chad Simpson, murdered his wife and killed himself. I suspected it had a connection. Okay. And then we have the people in the attic, the 5 police officers under my home, Davis, Dickey, Chadwell, Angel, and Elle. They can tell us everything we want to know.